Hi, everybody. My name is Miss Urban, and today's lesson is renting versus owning or buying. What is renting? So, renting is when you borrow an item and you need to make payments over time. So, you might have heard about renting from things like movies, you rent a movie, maybe you rent books, you rent apartments, cars, televisions, but there's a lot of other things you could do, like you rent furniture or you rent different things. What is buying? Buying is when you pay a full amount or you sign an agreement to eventually pay the full amount for an item. So this would be similar to all the items discussed before, but it's actually owning the item, right? You're buying the item or you're owning the item. Why would someone want to rent? So, benefits of renting include making lower payments or lower down payments. So, upfront, you're not expected to pay as much. You also might get a better item for less money. So, if you rent a 2020 car, it might save you money up front to pay less money to rent that car rather than buying the brand new 2020 car. And someone would benefit from renting something if they only temporarily need it. So maybe something you only need for one day, or maybe something you only need for a week or a month. Disadvantages of renting. That includes you're not able to customize something. So if you rent something, you need to keep it in the same condition that you got it. So if you rent a car or a house, for example, you're not able to make it your own. You're not able to customize it or personalize it. You eventually have to return the item. This qualifies for if you are renting a movie or a television. You eventually have to return it because you're only paying to borrow it, not to keep it. Accidents happen and it might cost you. So, for example, if you are renting a car and you get into a car accident for any reason, that can cost you because you're renting the item. So it's kind of like you're borrowing it from a person or a company. So if you, for any reason, damage the item, you will might have to pay more money in the long run, or sorry, pay money up front. And then you need to pay more money in the long run. You might wind up renting, say, an apartment for over a course of 20 years. And if you do this, it's actually going to cost you a lot more in the long run than if you were to just buy an apartment or buy a house for the 20 years. So it depends on if you temporarily need it or if you want it to be a long term thing. You might have to think about where you're saving. Secret word, yellow. This will come and this will help you for your assignment. Why would someone buy an item? So, benefits of buying include owning an item for a long time, creating or making it your own. So, like I said before, with the rent, you're not able to customize something. So, if you buy an apartment or you buy a house, you're able to paint the walls, you're able to change the color of the carpets, you're able to change a lot more. So, you can kind of make it your own. You might save money in the long run. So again, it all depends on how long you need something and how long you plan on staying somewhere. It might save you money in the long run. And then if you own something, you're able to turn around and sell it. So if you're renting a car, you're not able to sell that back. If you're renting an apartment when you leave, you're not able to sell that back. You're not getting any money when you decide that you don't want to live there anymore if you're renting. But if you're buying a house or you're buying a car, you are able to turn around, and when you want to change, you're able to sell the item. So you're able to get money for the apartment, the house, the car, whatever it is. Disadvantages of buying include you might have to pay more money upfront. So again, if you're um, buying a television, right? Renting it might only cost you a few dollars a month, but buying a television might actually charge you the full amount. Repairs are going to cost you. So if you own something and you need something to be repaired, the repairs might actually cost you. Whereas if you're renting an apartment, sometimes, and this is only temporary or sometimes, landlords or people that are renting something to you might say, we will cover half of it, or we'll cover part of it, or we'll even cover the full amount. So if you own something, the repairs might actually cost you because now you have to pay for those because again, it's your stuff, you're owning it. And keeping something for the long run. So even though this might be an advantage for buying something, this also might be a disadvantage because now you're locked into keeping something, or you're now stuck with that television you didn't want, or that couch you really don't like after a year. So it all depends on if you want to keep the item for a long time, or you might now feel trapped because now you bought this item and now you can't do anything with it. What should I do? So here's 3 scenario questions. So we're going to talk about these 3 scenarios. Okay, I'm going to read the first one. Becky needs a textbook for college. She is going to school to be an artist, but has to take biology course to graduate. She has no interest in biology and only needs a textbook for this course. Should she rent or buy the textbook? So let's talk about this. If Becky only needs a textbook for college and she only needs it for a class that she doesn't really have an interest in, what do you think she should do? Do you think that she should rent it, or do you think that she should buy it? I agree with you. I think that she does need to rent the item. So you can rent textbooks. So in college or even in high school or other schools, if a textbook is required or a book is required that maybe it's not something you're interested in, you can rent it. So you can go onto a website or you can go to a store and you can rent the item for a short period of time. You have to pay maybe monthly payments, or you pay less money, but you always have to return the item. Now, say it was an art class and she's very much interested in art. She might want to keep the item. So it all depends on, again, if you want it for a long term or if it's something that you only need temporarily. Okay. Second one, John wants to update his TV. He saw the latest 2020 Vizio came out with 4D graphics. His current TV is black and white and is small. He wants to use this TV for a long time and has the money to afford it. What should he do? Rent or buy? So again, let's talk about this. John wants to update his TV. He has a very old TV, a black and white TV, and it's very small. He wants to buy the latest TV. He wants it for a long term, and he has the money that he can afford it. So I would give him the advice to buy the item. So in this case, you would want to buy it because not only does he want it for a long time, but it seems like he can afford it. And it looks like his old TV is very, very, very old, black and white, and is small. So he could benefit from owning this item rather than renting it. The last scenario. Karen and Ben, who are 19 years old, are moving out of their parents' house to live together. They are not married and have only been dating for 2 years. Should they rent or buy? This is a tricky one. So in my opinion, I would say I would advise them to rent their apartment or rent their house. Why? Because 1, they're very young. 2, they've only been dating for 2 years. They're not married. And again, you don't want to be locked into a commitment like a house that might take 30 years to pay off, or buying a house, which would be a lot of money. If you're just moving out of your parents' house, you might also not be able to financially afford to buy a house. So in my opinion, I would say rent. However, there are chances where a 19-year-old couple can totally buy a house if they can afford it and they believe that they're going to be married. So this one's kind of a tricky one. So the first one, the second one were very easy. This one's kind of iffy. So you always have to read the scenario to figure it out. Okay. Is it worth it? So 2 deals are currently happening at Best Buy. You could rent an iPhone 13, I didn't even know that came out, for $14 a month with a 24-month contract. So you're signed into a 24-month contract that every month you have to pay $14. Or you can buy an iPhone 13 for $300. So you can buy the item to keep it for $300, which will save you money. So math time. And I know you guys are all rolling your eyes right now. Math time. Okay. So over here, I've written up just basic math, I promise. I'm not going to get into anything too dramatic, okay? So if you were to rent this iPhone for $14 a month for 24 months, so notice the $14, $14, 24 months, 24 months. How much would that cost us? So we need to multiply those two numbers together. And we're going to use my handy dandy calculator. So we're going to do 14 times 24 to figure out how much after 24 months is it going to cost us if we have to pay $14 for the first month, $14 for the second month, and keep going. That's going to cost us $336. $336. Okay. Now, if we bought the iPhone, it's only going to cost us $300. So there's no monthly payments. It's just upfront, you have to pay $300. Which one's saving us the most money? You were right. Buying the iPhone is going to save us more money. So you're going to want to buy the item. See how it saved us $36 just to buy it? Okay. Second secret word is banana. Is it worth it? More examples. So let's do a second example. Your parents need a new car and have been looking around. They found two deals. Car number one is a lease. Lease is also the same idea as rent. For 30 months, that will cost them $450 a month. Or car number two, they can buy the car for $1,500. Which one will save them the most money? So again, renting or leasing a car for 30 months will cost them $450. So again, a little bit of math. Don't roll your eyes too much. We need to find out how much this rental is going to cost us in the long run. So again, handy dandy calculator. I'm going to do 30 times 450. And this is going to cost us $13,500. Handwriting's not too good on the computer. Okay. If we bought the item or bought the car, it's going to cost us $1,500. So which one is saving us the most money in the long run? Renting, right? Notice that this one is a lower number, 13, than this number, 15. So we would want to rent the car. Now remember, in all of these scenarios, there's a lot of wiggle room. There's a lot of scenarios where maybe you would want to buy this car. Why? Because maybe they want the car for a long time. They don't want it just for 30 months. They want it for a long period of time. Someone can argue with this one that it would pay more to rent the iPhone because maybe you only want to rent it for a tiny period of time. Maybe you don't want to be stuck into a contract. So there's a lot of different scenarios. So you have to remember that there's always a little wiggle room. There's a little gray area. Okay, assignment. So your assignment for this week is completing a quiz game. So you're going to see a link on Canvas and you're going to complete, it's kind of like a game. Okay, it's a multiple choice game and you need to answer questions from this presentation. Rules for completing the quiz. You need to use your full name to earn credit. So when you first start the game, it's going to ask you for your name. You need to use your real name. Any nicknames or pretend names is not going to earn you credit. And you need to score 50% or higher. So at the end of the game, it's going to score you. You need to get 50% or higher to earn credit. If you do not earn 50% or higher, you can replay the game. So you can just keep clicking replay, input your full real name, and then play the game over and over again until you get a 50% or higher. Any questions? You are welcome to email me. My email address is hurban@nfcs.k12 Bye, guys.